Welcome to day 2 of lesson 821, figuring out the area of polygons or other figures. I'm on page 406. Since you have your math textbook home with you, I would like for you to turn to that page 2 and do the problems along with me. You might also want to get your calculator though, although I don't think the computations are going to be that bad today. We're starting off on the bottom of the page. We kind of did some of the problems on the top of the page last time. Today we're going to start on number 15, and we're going to do the perimeter and the area. So you remember that the perimeter is the distance around. So add up all the sides and write down your answer. If you wrote down 24 centimeters, you are correct. Now, for area, you remember the formula for area. See if you can write it without me saying it. I'm hoping you wrote base times height divided by 2, or maybe you wrote it like this, half the base times the height, something like that. Remember, it's half of a rectangle. Kind of ran out of room there. Sloppy job, but you get the idea. It's half of it. So figure out the area. The area is also 24 centimeters. But remember, we write it squared. So it might seem like it's the same number, but it's really telling us about different things. The perimeter is a line distance. The area is a covering area. All right, I'd like you to try number 16. Now remember, it's not a triangle, so you're not going to divide by 2. All right, the perimeter should have been 18 centimeters. Remember, it's 4 plus 5. This side's going to be 4 because it's opposite that side. This side is going to be 5 because it's opposite that side. And you can add them in any order you want. 9 plus 9 is 18. The area, remember, it's base times height. So it's just 4 times 3, which is 12. And you don't cut it in half because it's not a triangle. The triangles are going to be the only ones that you cut in half. All right, let's do one more. Let's just do this one right here, number 18. You go ahead and figure out the perimeter and the area. And in a moment, I'll tell you what the correct answer should be. All right, the perimeter is 25 centimeters. It's 8 plus 7 plus 10. You don't need that 6 over there. That 6 is the height, and you don't need to consider that when you're doing the perimeter. You do need it for the area. And remember, it's base times height, the two lines that form that right angle, the base and height. I just went over our numbers. That's terrible. All right, so your base, oh goodness, just like the smart board at school. Oh, now I erase my writing. Like sometimes I feel like Mr. Noodle on Sesame Street, if you know who that is. Dear me. Okay, so base 8 times the height, 6 is 48, divided by 2 is 24 centimeters squared. All right, flip over to the next page. This is the part that's new. This is the part that's a little bit of a challenge. So let's just talk about this triangle right here. They want us to find the area. 4 times 4, 16, divided by 2 is 8 centimeters. Again, hopefully you flip the page in your book and you're doing this along with me. Now the area of the triangle. 6 times 4, 24. We don't cut it in half because it's not a triangle. Oop, and these should be squared, shouldn't they? Shame on me. Okay, so now over here, they're saying find the area of the complex figure. Complex means it's made up of more than one of those shapes. It's just a little more, it's not simple. How about that? So they took this rectangle and they put it with this, and they want to know the area of the whole thing. Well, we don't really have the area for that. That's actually a trapezoid, and actually there is a formula for trapezoid, but we're not going to learn it. You could just add 24 and 8, couldn't you? And you would get 32 centimeters squared. Now, when would you need this in real life? You might, from time to time, have a shape like this, like in your house or outside. Believe it or not, my living room was shaped like this. When I lived in Iowa, we had this really strange wall that came out. And actually, the room kind of continued on like this. It was really weird. This was the kitchen, this is the dining area, and this was the living room. And this was all blue carpeting that I hated, but it was brand new, so I had to have it forever. So I never did get rid of that blue carpeting, but that was what I wanted to do. So I would have to figure out the area of that figure, and then I could figure out how much it was going to cost. For me, it cost too much, so I was stuck with that blue carpeting. But someday you might have a house that has a shape like that, and you want to figure out how much would it cost to put hardwood in, or how much would it cost to put a different floor covering in. All right, let's go to this area down here. In this area, they're showing us in centimeters, which would not be the size of a room, but you might have a room that's shaped like this, or a house that's shaped like this, and you need to cover it with something. So that would be finding the area. I'm going to scroll this down so it's a little bit higher up on your screen. Now, you can cut this a couple of different ways. You could cut it like this, and you could make it into 2 rectangles that way. Another way you could cut it would be to cut it going the other way, right here. Okay, and depending on the way you cut it, it might make it the problem easier or harder. So let's try it this way. I'm going to make this a little firmer number. And I know that this whole piece is 5. I'm gonna work with this piece first, okay? And we'll go back and do the perimeter later. We're gonna do the area first. I probably jumped ahead a little bit. So this whole thing is 5, and I need to know this piece. Well, this piece right here, from here to here, is actually 3, because it's the opposite side here. So that means this one must be 2, because 3 plus 2 is 5. So for that little part of that figure, the little box or the little rectangle, that's going to be 2. Okay, and I'm going to write that off to the side. Over 2 times 1 is 2, so it's 2 centimeters squared. And again, I'm just going to leave the label off for now. Over here, this was 3. Oh, but what's this going to be? Well, they told us that this part right here is 2. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to switch to yet another color. This part right here is 2. So what's this right here? Well, it's the opposite side of this. So that's 1, so this is 1. So this whole thing is 3. So really, it's 3 by 3, which is 9. So I'm going to add the area of this, which is 2. Sometimes I like to write them right in the box. And this is 9. 2 plus 9 is 11 centimeters squared. I'm going to erase this. Gobbledygook. Get us back to the old problem. And now the perimeter, you just have to add up along all the sides. It gets a little bit tricky because here you have 3, here you have 2. They didn't tell you what this little figure right here is. So let me figure that out for us. So this little piece right here, I don't know. Well, remember when we cut this apart before and we said this is 3, this is 2? this is 2. So we've got 3, 2, 2, 1. I'm going to get rid of that little 2 there. This whole thing is 5. And then over here, remember that we figured that side was 3 before. So if you add them all up, 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 2 is 7, 8, 13, 16. The perimeter is 16 centimeters. We have time for one more today. Now, take a look at this one. I kind of already showed you how to divide it up with that dotted line in there. Hopefully you see a rectangle and a triangle. So let's do the area first again. So the area of the rectangle is going to be 40. I'm going to write it right here. And then the area of the triangle, oh boy, this dotted line is the height here, and this is the base right here. Okay, now the height is, so I'm going to pull that triangle off over here. Okay, so the height is going to be 8 because that's opposite here. However, this distance right here, the base of the triangle, I have to cut it off here because this over here is not part of the triangle. The base of the triangle is not 11. This whole distance from the edge of the rectangle to the end of the triangle is 11. If you look up here, this is 5. So when we draw this line down here, this is 5, and that means 5 plus some number is 11. 5 plus 6 is 11. That means our base and our height are 8 and 6. 8 times 6 are 48. If you cut that in half, it's 24. Add the 24 here. All together, 64 centimeters squared. Gosh, they sure do like centimeters in this textbook, don't they? Now then, erasing all our work from before. Let's see if they gave us what we need for the perimeter. We've got 5 here, 8 here, 11 here, 10 here. Yes, they gave us all the sides, so all we have to do is add up those numbers. So I'm going to give you a moment. You can add them up in any order you want. And I got 34. Did you get 34 also? Okay. Centimeters. I think that's good enough for today. Today's homework, you can do the problems 3 times. They're going to be a challenge. You're going to have to figure out where to make your cuts. Okay, on this one, we just as easily could have made our cut this way and figured out the long box and the short box. I didn't show you that way, but it would have worked that way too. If you have questions, remember you can Zoom with me, you can message me, you can email me, or you could ask a mom or dad or brother or sister for help. Good luck. Remember, 3 times you can do your homework. See you later.